Hey folks, this is an example video on section 4.3. So if you would go down in your notes to example number 4, notice the directions that were written up above example number 3. All we're doing here is that we are to find the remaining zeros. We actually did an example of this in the last section, so this is just a little bit different from the one that we did in the last section, but it's basically the same kind of thing. All right, so the first thing is that we want to prove it. When we're told we have some zeros, we want to prove that those are our zeros. So I'm going to choose the 4 to plug in first. Go ahead and make a list of my coefficients. Pause the video and go ahead and do your synthetic substitution and then come back to see if you got it correct. Okay, now that you are back, you should have gotten the following for your synthetic substitution. Once again, it's not a surprise that you get 0 there for the remainder, since we were told it was a 0. So we can make a list then. We know that x equals 4 is a 0. We were told that, and we also proved it. Next, let's go ahead and plug in our -4 for synthetic substitution. Don't forget, when you are plugging in a second time, never go back to the beginning. Always used the depressed polynomial. So don't go back to the beginning. So you'll notice that my list of coefficients now is not the same as it was in the beginning. It's my depressed polynomial. Again, pause the video, do your synthetic substitution, and then come back. Okay, you should have gotten the following for your synthetic substitution. Once again, 0 remainder is not a surprise, and we can continue making our list for x equals -4. Notice also that now our depressed polynomial is a quadratic. We have 4 methods of solving quadratics, so we're going to use one of our methods for solving quadratics. Factoring is not going to work on this one, and completing the square would work, but it would be pretty ugly. Square root property is also not going to work. So the only method that's really going to work here is the quadratic formula. So what I would like for you to do is pause the video and go ahead and work out the quadratic formula. All right, now that you're back, you should have gotten the following for your quadratic formula. Take a look at that, see if it's the same thing that you got. At this point, then, I can go ahead and list out my 2 imaginary zeros that I got for this question.